Hello and welcome back to another episode of Into the 99. We've got 99 cards because Commander's number one. I am one of your hosts, Daniel. I am joined today with both Slothy and Brian. Slothy, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. We were dying. We're doing a back-to-back recording kind of thing today. So we did one yesterday, one today, and it was wild heat. So I'm happy it's so bright and early today and it's not so hot. Yeah. Although Brian said he's feeling it over there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's even though it's only like 8:30 when we're recording this, it's still 18 degrees right now.
Yeah, it's warm.
Yeah,
It's
my
gonna get
computer says
real
it's
warm
17,
today.
but it feels like a 30 in my room.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Brian, how are you minus melting?
Simmering. I'm doing great. Yeah, we recorded last night, but only unfortunate thing is I got to work today, so I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, right.
On
Not a
this
great day. Stat
beautiful
pay.
Canada Day.
Yeah, this is a Canada Day recording. We don't take breaks here.
Yeah, happy Canada Day. Time for some illegalizing.
Yeah, it's Canada Day. It's going to be a week after Canada Day, but we'll get it. Canadians can't get the days right.
No, the Americans get their Thanksgiving wrong.
You're not wrong. So today we have. I just wanted to talk more of a concept over decks because I bring up all the time that I play illegal commanders. I've talked more than once that I have a Hans and Safi deck. Talked about having a Lutri deck. We just did Rosie Meridoc. It's very fun to build illegal commanders, right? Not everything has to fit into the actual subset of the real rules in this game because Commander's just a fun format to play with your friends, right? It can kind of get a little silly out of the way. You make custom commanders that do something that might actually work for you. But I just kind of wanted to talk about how to maybe bring up to your play group that you have an illegal commander pairing, a little bit about how to build them, and then just go over some of the insane amount of options. I have a little list. It'll be in the show notes. It's non-exhaustive. There's probably way more. I probably forgot lots of stuff, but it's just cool stuff that I would still always like to build decks around. There's lots of really, really fun ones. So I'll let you guys kind of just say what you think. Like, what's your initial thoughts on illegal commanders? Do you guys support these? Do you not support them? Like, what does the group think?
Please take us away there, Slothy.
Yeah, I'm all for them. I think that it offers a lot different build patterns, and if you're using, kind of like yesterday with Rosie Meridoc, 2 uncommon legendaries, it can also help kind of guide you into kind of getting into the format more on a budget end, if that makes sense. And I think it's awesome. It can allow for a lot more creativity than just sticking directly by the rules all the time.
Well, that's what this game's all about, right? Just fun, being able to brainstorm an idea or thought or game plan. Like me and Sherman were talking about chess, and then we start talking about Magic and just how there's so many different possibilities. And I think I was even talking to Dan, and he mentioned out of 4 players, you're sitting there with 400 card decks. Mm-hmm. What are the chances that X, Y, and Z are going to be pulled out of each of these things along those lines? And just like you guys were mentioning, I think the illegal commanders, and I saw one that I already love, and I think I might build one. I don't have a problem with it as long as it's not something that's going to be broken right out of the command zone. I think but more than likely, I would allow it to be played once.
Yeah, kind of see how it is.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that. So I was taking a look just kind of through Reddit, see what people thought generally about this before we made this episode. And so many people have very, very terrible ideas on what this should be. Like, a lot of them are like, oh, I wish I could pair Rograk and Winota together so that I had a non-human to start off with. I'm like, guys, relax on some of that, right? You have to be a little reasonable with the things that you're trying to do. If you're doing illegal pairings, it should add something to it, not just like hyper enable your already like really great card.
Yeah, screw Winota.
Yeah,
you can't.
I have some hate for her.
What's that? It's a Simic card. It brings out like no one's gonna allow me to be like, oh, this is my rule 0 pairing where I bring Kenrith and I'm gonna use Training Grounds as a background, right? So I can just reduce everything by 2, right? No one's letting me do that. We got to be. When we're approaching stuff like this, we have to think first and foremost, which I do every time when I'm building every commander deck, is this going to be fun? Are my friends going to enjoy this? Am I going to enjoy this, right? Sometimes there's different, like I played some higher power stuff, some Staxy stuff. But it's for the play group, right? That play group enjoys that stuff. I wouldn't bring it into like a casual group that I know isn't going to enjoy it. I don't like wreck the game for people. I take Brian's Soul Ring a lot. Anyone who watches the videos thinks I might wreck the game for people, but but again, I understand Brian's like temperament and humor and stuff, right? I probably wouldn't play like that against someone I've never met before who's like just coming out to the LGS the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm probably not going to Tibalt Trickery like the newest player in the group's Soul Ring.
Guys,
welcome to the party, guys.
My pairing that I'm going to build is Yawgmoth and Crick, son of Yawgmoth.
A lot of people like that. But there's so many people that they went a little silly with some of them. So as long as you're being fun and as long as it's like the Halfling deck, right? Anyone who listened to last week's episode, it's not that crazy of a deck. It's just a food deck. We've got multiple other commanders, and that's like my biggest piece of advice is when you're building a deck like this, have a legitimate other commander to play. And some you can't. There's just one moment here. Sorry, dying there. Some you can't just play the other way. Commander Mechanic is another creator, and they talked about their Rule Zero deck where they used one of the first ones we'll talk about on this list even is Luxior, Giada's Gift, and they played it as a Bant deck. So it's legendary equipment. It's 1 mana. Equipped creature gets 1/1 for each counter on it. Equipped permanent isn't a planeswalker and is a creature in addition to its other types. Equipped planeswalker equip for 3. So their whole deck was built around this. It was a Bant deck that was using different silly kind of counters, like being able to animate a land and attach this to a Dark Depths, so that the Dark Depths was now like a 2020, like 2020 Luxior. They were able to like use a bunch of like the spy toolkit stuff to get the vigilance and lifelink counters and have those passed around these things. Like it actually looked like a really fun deck. Yeah, it seemed super fun. It was it looked like it had a ton of really creative rules interactions, and all of the feedback on it looked really great. I can, if I'm able to, I'll find that list for the show notes because it was really well explained. And I think that there's kind of a path for every commander, right? There's if there's something you want to do in Magic, Commander's the best self-expressive place to do it, right? Some people love these big silly plays. Some people just like to technically figure out the game, right? They want that big like spell slinger battle on the stack of like, am I going to get this to resolve? Can I stop their win plan, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned rule stuff, and I do have a little bit of a funny story that I don't think I told either of you. You know your Elish Norn deck, right, Dan?
Yep.
So I asked a rules question off of a play, and it got like the whole LGS talking about it for like 45 minutes. It was super funny. The question was, if Elish Norn enters, does a Soul Attendant or a Soul Warden's 1 life trigger off of it?
Like opponents?
Yeah.
Oh, easy answer. No.
Yeah. So I was saying no. Your brother and everyone else was like, I'm pretty sure it still triggers. So like basically the people at Ogre's Den, like every 15 minutes would come back over and give us a different explanation.
It's I can say that one almost like right now. It's pretty sure that'd be a layer 7 characteristics check. Because it's already entered, it's resolved, so it has to see that it exists, and once it exists, nothing can trigger. So the trigger is post it entering.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, and it checks the characteristics. But yeah, like I like conversations like that. I like finding out new cool things about the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was really interested because it had like, first off, I asked your brother.
Yeah.
And then he asked one of the other store attendants. And then the person at the counter got into the conversation. And then like I was like, I'll leave it with you guys. And I went back to the table. And then like you could hear them like over the wall still at the counter. Everyone's still talking about it and they're arguing.
It's so fun to see stuff like that and such a complex interaction over a 1 life gain, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, there was a double on there, so it was 2 life, and I wanted to win this game.
That's fair. We did talk, like you said earlier, I like that Magic is so, there's so many people that build in fairly similar ways, right? I do get told all the time that I build nonsense stuff no one's like expecting.
Animal?
No, I build I build pretty weird, right? And it's I like to think that I introduce people to a lot of weird cards with my strange building. But that
Yeah,
think-
okay.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, and you mentioned that when with your the CDH groups that you play against.
Oh, they hate it.
They know
They hate
certain
anything
cards
that
they
isn't
have
meta.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they know the cards that they need to counter and everything, and
Yeah, threat
you
assessment.
play
It doesn't
weird
super work that way.
cards.
Yeah, I like to play some strange stuff. But what I was going to say is that there is so much the likelihood of you knowing what someone's deck is just from them sitting down is pretty small. Like unless you're in, like you said, a CEDH pod where they're like, I'm playing Blue Farm. It's you're going to know exactly kind of what's the general gist, right? But there's so many decks that you and I have similar commanders for decks, right? Like we both have Selvalas. Our Selvala decks are even the same theme right now, and they're different.
Yep.
Or even bringing up from a couple weeks ago when we all did Aragorn.
Oh yeah, exactly, right? We're all going to build super, super different, super, super weird. So
Yeah, you guys built that wrong.
Oh,
I don't think so.
burn Ragorn, please.
Aragorn will destroy you
Yeah.
and your soul ring.
It's
was that the name of the Canadian Airjet thing? The Airburn? No, I'm joking. some bad Canadian history jokes here.
So where is my
The Avro Arrow? There we go.
yeah, I wanted to talk just about first off, like I was saying, a backup plan. If you don't have a backup commander for that deck, make sure you have another deck with you, right? Make sure you've got something else that does it. I like anything that makes me to talk to the table and stuff, right? So maybe you have a commander that's substantially more annoying. Maybe you can bring that up. Hey, I'd like to play with these two, but if not, this is my backup commander. My backup commander is just a much more brutal version. I'm trying to have some fun here, but
The one thing I'm really interested in with some of these illegal pairings or just illegal commanders in general are like going back to it, the rules conversation, like what kind of interactions might we see? Because it might not be something that has happened in your play group.
Yeah.
So it also can sometimes gives you a good intro to learning some of the new rules or kind of steps within, like you said, layer 7 or whatever. Like I enjoyed that kind of stuff, like learning some of the rules and things like that when stuff triggers on the table together.
Some of the more like intricate stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have also a pretty strange opinion on things. I think that most things kind of should be allowed to be commanders. Like I really, really like just using vehicles as a commander. If it's a legendary vehicle, especially, it shouldn't have to be like a, this can be your commander thing for it. But
yeah,
but I'm against most planeswalkers as commanders, right? The ones that we do have, I like, but there's just some like I'm not gonna probably I'm probably not going to enjoy sitting down against your like Teferi. Everything can only be Flash Planeswalker deck, right? Like that's like Teferi, the Mage of Zelfir, but with white.
I'll play my Renin Realmbreaker.
That'd be a fun deck. So yeah, I might like that one.
What's the other format's Oathbreaker, right? And that's like basically commander with a Planeswalker and a spell.
Yeah, something like that.
If I've heard about that right. So I just let players use, instead of making new formats, just let players use what they want to use in the command zone, as long as it's not, like we've been repeatedly saying, broken.
Well, yeah, as long as you're not wrecking the game or trying to do something that's if you're building for fun, I'm sure most people are going to be like, you know what, go ahead. But if you're building to I win harder, you're probably not very fun to play with in the first place, right? You're probably no, Dean doesn't do that. Dean goes for fun. Like his fun is just stacking the game. I think Dean loses a lot of games, but he has a good time doing it.
Yeah, he does bring out the ire in the table.
Yeah, kind of like what you were saying.
Oh, good.
Be much more willing to have someone play like your Rosie and Meridoc deck than if someone pulled up with a Rule 0 Draneth Magistrate deck.
Right.
Or something like that.
Yeah, so
Brian's face says it all.
That just sounds terrible. Turn 2, no one can play their commanders. GG.
Exactly.
Guys. And then it dies, but I bring it back.
Yeah, so I want to talk about some of these things because the things that make me want to build a non-legal commander thing are the following, at least, and then you guys can tell me what you would think of how you would build. Number one, is, does it have that legendary wow factor, right? Maybe it's a legendary flip card like, let's look at Elbrus, the Binding Blade. It's a 7 mana equipment. Equipped creature gets 1/0. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, unattach it, transform it, you equip it for 1. And it turns into Withengar Unbound, Flying, Intimidate, Trample. Whenever a player loses the game, you put 13 1/1 counters on Withengar Unbound. So it's a lot of, like, sure, it's a big 13/13, but you've got to have a creature. The creature's got to get through. You've got to cast this dagger. You got to block it. It's there's some hoops to jump through, right? And it is a legendary creature, just on the backside.
Yeah.
Flying, Intimidate, Trample is pretty rough, though.
I need 2 flyers now in my halfling deck to block it.
Right? Well, the other thing, too, is you can just destroy artifacts pretty easy. People should have a little bit of removal going.
Yeah.
You saw my newest deck list. There wasn't anything in there.
It's me. I'm people. I should have them.
Yeah. Practice what you preach, Daniel.
Yeah. So, like I said, the first is that you think it's got that wow factor, that it's got something like it. Maybe it's not specifically a legendary itself, but does it meet the criteria of this looks unique? Does it there is one that I have that is basically a foot soldier, but it's a named one in here. So we'll get to that one when we check it out. But basically, you don't want zombie number 343 leading your army, right? Like, you want something that's like that. This is like unique and cool. And you're like, wow, this is awesome. Like,
yeah,
could this be, if you were reading a story about this, could this be a main character? Could this be something interesting, right? Is this just going to be an off-screen character that's there for 1 second? It's probably not going to be the most fun, right? But is this like an army general kind of thing, right? Maybe
we can all make our own destiny, Daniel.
I'm doing my part.
my 1/1 warrior's gonna do it.
So let's talk a little bit. I've got 6 artifacts in my little list here. Number 1 is Asika's Chariot. I just think this is a fun thing to play from the command zone. Asika's Chariot is a 3 colorless, 1 green, 4/4 legendary artifact vehicle. When it enters, you create 2 green cats, and whenever it attacks, you can create a token that's a copy of target token you control with crew 4.
Love those cats.
I think that's pretty fun. It feeds into itself. It's pretty silly looking artwork. I'm on board for something like that,
curled
right?
up in the chariot. It's so adorable.
Right? And that's, just an extra mono green cat deck's not going to hurt anyone, right?
Yeah.
Except for those squirrels.
You guys go through you guys come through my artifact list. Slothy, you take the next one.
Yeah. There is Golden Argosy. It's a 4 mana for a 3/6 legendary vehicle. Whenever it attacks, exile each creature that crewed this turn, return them to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step, and it has crew for 1.
It's basically Brago.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just letting me play Brago with a vehicle at this point.
I need this card now.
Yeah, the Golden Argosy. I love it.
That's the card you guys.
You can't say it every time.
Oh, bad. The next one that we have here, like Daniel mentioned here, is Luxior Giada's Gift.
We already did that one.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought
we do the next one.
You just named it. We got the Unscythe, Killer of Kings, white, black, red, legendary. It's an equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+3 and has first strike. Whenever a creature dealt damage by equipped creature this turn is put into a graveyard, you may remove that card from the game. If you do, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token into play. Equip 2.
Blue, not white, but yes.
Whoops, I thought I said blue. Thank you.
The other blue. But yeah, no, again, it's a legendary artifact. It's kind of the weapons leading it, right? It's possessing whoever has it, and it's taking the souls. I think it's a cool one, and it's a very strange color for an equipment to have. I think in the game itself, it's pretty unique, the position it occupies.
Yeah.
Skull, the mouth on it looks super creepy.
And then there's stuff like the Weatherlight, 4 colorless for a 4/5 vehicle. When it deals combat damage to a player, you look at the top 5 cards of your library. You can reveal a historic from among them and put it into your hand, put the rest in the bottom in a random order, and then you crew it for 3. I really like this as like a flavor deck if you were trying to build out the Weatherlight crew, right? So lots of
That'd be cool.
Lots of cool Dominaria based things. You decide your colors and just say, hey guys, I have this deck that's just Dominaria themed with the Weatherlight. I like the story. Can I play this? Here's my alternate commander if I can't. But again,
Yeah.
it's you still. I don't think you're getting anything broken by allowing the Weatherlight as a vehicle. You've still got to crew it. It's a flying 4/5, sure, but we're just basically digging for historic cards with it. I think it's pretty fun.
With the Weatherlight as your commander, technically it has no color identity. So would you be then allowing it to be played with color spells?
That's what I was saying. You would pick the colors of your deck and say, I want Weatherlight to be the head of it. This is the colors that it is. If not,
Gotcha, okay.
here is the commander that meets those colors.
Sorry, missed that spot.
Yeah. Like for instance, with the Commander Mechanics Luxior deck, right? They took apart the Precon from New Capenna with the Rhino.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's their alternate commander. So it's a Bant themed deck. And just you say like, oh, like this would be Bant colors. This is the real commander. But if you'll let me play my cool card, let me play my cool card kind of thing, right?
Got you. Okay.
And then I have a fairly big list of potentially like things that are fun. Before I even get into that list, though, I want to talk about just a few that I think should be. You'll see what I mean here. So number one is Skrelv. I really like partnering Skrelv Defector Might with Skrelv's Hive because I think that's fun. Skrelv has
to
toxic.
Give him his home.
Yeah, Skrelv has toxic 1. It's a 1/1 for 1. It can give another target creature toxic 1 and hexproof and protection from a color till the end of turn. Yeah. And hexproof from the color for the end of turn. So still blockable, nothing crazy. And then Skrelv's Hive just makes you might tokens. It's 1 and a white, beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life, create a might token, basically getting a Bitter Blossom in the command zone.
Corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more toxic counters, creatures you control have toxic and lifelink.
Yeah. I played with someone in one of my other groups a while ago, and they played this pairing, and it's very, very fun as well. So this is Triskaidekaphile, 1 and a blue. It's a human wizard, 1/3. You have no max hand size. Beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. 3 and a blue, you draw a card. I think that meets the criteria of something that's first off interesting. It's very, very cool with the 13 win con, the 1/3 size for the, you know what I mean? I really like that. But they had paired it with Triskaidekaphobia as the side of it as a background. And that's 3 and a black. At the beginning of your upkeep, you choose one. Each player with exactly 13 life loses the game. Then each player gains a life. Or each player with exactly 13 life loses the game. Then each player loses 1 life. I found it was a really, really interesting deck that was trying to make people lose life down to that 13 or ping themselves down and Tree of Perdition themselves over to a 13 kind of thing so that they could do that or try and get that 13 cards in hand. Just meeting the criteria of the 13 number was a really, really fun deck idea that I saw them play.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's some flavor to it.
Yeah. And then,
I like.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, I was kind of perusing your list and I saw that you had one planeswalker on here, and he actually seems pretty cool.
I thought Dakin should always have. I thought it was pretty fun. It's the -3 is a little strong, sure, but they gave Diata. You know what I mean? Like Diata can be your commander. Take Dakin away, please. Yeah,
so we got Dakin Shadow Slayer, white, blue, white, black. No, I'm joking. White, blue, black. Legendary Planeswalker Dakin Shadow Slayer enters the battlefield with a number of loyalty counters on him equal to the number of lands you control. +1 is Surveil 2. -3 is Exile target creature. -6, you may put an artifact card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield.
Yeah, I think that's fun.
I really like this one as a commander.
Actually, the art looks super cool. I really like it.
Dakin from a lore standpoint is also super, super cool because basically he got betrayed and became a planeswalker and just ran around trying to avenge himself because they stole the sword he was making. He was a pretty crazy person, not a good guy.
All the body your soul's into?
Yeah, it's very, very not a good person in the story for sure. But again, you're not in green, so you're not crazy ramping out, right? Like, who's gonna? This is my Esper land ramp deck. Come on, right? It's
that white ramps hard with Elish Norn. So
yeah, but
blinking.
But again, then are you gonna you're gonna put a sub theme of Elish Norn in your artifact theme deck, right? So like that's what I mean, right? Like this is still I think it's a unique one. You don't have much that really lets you artifact reanimate in these colors. You've got he's from the Osgear.
Mm-hmm.
Osgear is a pretty cool artifact reanimator, and you're able to do some really, really entertaining stuff with Osgear, but Osgear can get pretty broken and stuff. My Osgear deck loves to turn one Jeweled Lotus and then get my Jeweled Lotuses back with Osgear.
Yeah.
Then I got multiple Jeweled Lotus.
Yeah, I took mine apart because I thought it just felt a little bit too fast.
Osgear gets a little silly for sure. But yeah, I think that this would make a pretty fun thing. Sure, somebody can put in a like Blightsteel Colossus, but I talk all the time about how I cheat in Blightsteel Colossus. That already exists.
Yeah, that's nothing new.
Yeah, I also can't surveil Blightsteel Colossus to the graveyard. It'll shuffle in.
That is true.
Yeah, right? So like I don't know, I just think surveil, we don't really have a commander that uses surveil very much. I think one of the Dimir Guild Masters maybe.
Yeah, potentially.
But I think there's some things on here that are really, really fun and like have a unique spot. So Brian, take this Quartzwood Crasher for me.
Back to the top. K's. Dan made quite the list, guys. So definitely
did make a big list. You should check it out, and you should build some of these and then send them to me, and then I'll build them.
Did you say course? Like
Quartz.
Quartz. Q.
Oh, whoops. Back down. Sorry.
You'll see why I asked you, Brian.
Okay. Oh, this guy. Quartzwood Crasher 2. Red, green. Dinosaur Beast. I love it. Trample. Whenever one or more creatures you control with trample deals combat damage to a player, create an XX green dinosaur beast creature token with trample, where X is the amount of damage those creatures dealt to that player.
Yeah, that's super cool. I don't think that's a very broken ability. You can only hit one, so you can make a maximum of 3 new dinosaurs a turn. And it's just a trample theme. I think that's very fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, I'll take the one right under it too, because yeah, we'll go back to the top of the list and talk. Number 1, Questing Feldergriff. There's literally no excuse the Questing Feldergriff doesn't have legendary when Feldergriff is a legendary. There's literally no justification for it.
Creature Feldergriff.
Yeah.
My favorite tribe.
Yeah, it's just another Feldergriff. It's 1 green, 1 white, 1 blue. So nice old band hug. It's a 4/4. You can pay 1 green. Questing Feldergriff gets 1/1 until end of turn. Target opponent gets a 1/1 green hippo. I love it. Give me more. Give me, you use a white. Questing Feldergriff gains protection from black and red until end of turn. Target opponent gains 2 life. Solid group hug. And I'm a man who lives the solid group hug path. And 1 blue. Questing Feldergriff gains flying until end of turn. Target opponent may draw a card. You're not forcing people to go silly with it. They can draw if they'd like. I like this option. I think it's fun.
Yeah, this is one that I've always been a little soft on, and also thought should be legendary.
Right, because it should be.
Definitely should be.
Let's
it's not broken.
Let's hit the top of this and we'll just like go ahead and take some of these things. I'll even start at the top of this one with this Aki Blizzard Herder. It's 1/1 red for a 1/1. When it's put into a graveyard from play, each player sacks a land. I think that's a unique. It's very annoying for sure, but it's very unique. It's a common mono.
You're trying to instigate here, Daniel.
Oh, you
want
know.
to destroy my lands?
Oh, then the next one as well is this is literally Vial Smasher, just from a different the alternate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
No, that's what it is in the story.
Is it?
Ankle Shanker is Vial Smasher. It is Vial Smasher.
Oh,
just unnamed. Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. Ankle Shankers 2, and then one red, 1 white, 1 black, 2/2 haste. When it attacks, creature control gain first strike and death touch on the turn. That's not a insane ability. I like it. It's fun, but again, it I think looks unique. Its color identity is unique, and it's got really cool flavor text of the statue of the fighter matters less than the depth of the
I was going to read that too.
Yeah, it's really good, right?
Except his name offends me. My weak ankles don't want him around.
Right?
Oh man. We do have actually I think all of these next ones would do really well as lords. So we have Ashenmoor Liege, but there's all of the lieges. This one is 1 white black, or sorry, Black, red, black, red, black, red, the hybrids. Elemental Knight. Other black creatures you control get +1/+1. Other red creatures you control get +1/+1. And whenever Ashenborn Liege becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, that player loses 4 life.
This is just an anthem with Ward 4.
Yeah.
And really cool artwork.
Yeah, the art's really
like
neat on this one.
Yeah, the wolf from hell.
Well, at first I was looking at it weird. I was like, so he has armored boots as well, but that's the guy.
Yeah, right. I like all of these avatars. They're a little costly, but I think they're fun. I'll take 2 of these here. Avatar of Slaughter is 6 double red for an 8/8. All creatures get double strike and attack each combat if able. I love to goad, and I love to make the games go fast.
Yeah.
Make everything double striking goads. Yeah, I like it. And then we have Avatar of the Resolute, which I also think would be fun. I think it's a unique card. Double green for a reach trample 3/2. It enters with a 1/1 counter on it for each other creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it. So sure, it could be good if you're playing a 1/1 counter themed deck, but you're already getting 1/1 counters on your things. It's already the theme of the deck. There's lots of things that you can already, get stuff like that in. I like the avatars personally.
Yeah.
Avatar of the Resolute has to go into July and Hilaire. Let's go.
Yeah. And I also like the flavor text. It exemplifies the ideals of Dramoka, strength, unity, and honor. You got to have lots of things together. Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm. Then the third avatar we've got here is the Avatar of Woe. 6 double black for a 6/5 avatar. If there's 10 or more creature cards total in all graveyards, the spell costs 6 less. It's got fear, and you can tap to destroy target creature, and it can't be regenerated.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It's just a pinger. You don't have the crazy untap stuff you need in green or in black.
No, you don't, but I mill you guys. Now there's more than 10 creatures.
But that's black mill?
Yeah, there's some cards.
Not as much as more of it.
No.
I feel like you could do a bunch of like Clock of Omen, Liquimetal shenanigans with this one.
You could. I really like to pair Aula, Queen of Bears, with Ruxa. So I'll take those two. Aula's just, I think, fun. I think it's beautiful artwork. It's my favorite artist in Magic. I have a signed playmat of it. It's lovely. It's a bear, of course. 2/2. 1 in the green. Whenever another bear enters under your control, you choose one. You put 2/1 counters on target bear, or target bear you control fights target creature you don't control. That's awesome. It's a very fun ability. It makes a fun deck, but it kind of leaves it a little lackluster, right? Like you need something to get Aula a bit over the finish, and I think that Ruxa perfectly finishes that. So Rux is another bear. Ruxa, Patient Professor's 2 double green for a 4/4 bear druid. When Ruxa enters or attacks, you return target creature with no abilities from your graveyard to your hand, which is your bears. That's most of the bears. Creatures with no abilities get +1/+1, and you may have creatures you control with no abilities assign their combat damage as though they weren't blocked. So this kind of gets your bears through. Aula can make them fight or make them grow, and this just makes them petroglyphs. Basically, is an enchantment that does kind of the same thing. Yeah, I think they're fun to pair. I have Ruxa in my Aula deck, obviously. I often ask people if they care if I pair them together. Most people don't care because who plays Aula?
Daniel does.
I play Aula.
Oh, I noticed that you brought all I like some of these lists, actually. The next one that we have here is, again, the other, it's the Boros Liege, so 2 and 3 hybrid, red, white. Spirit Horror, other red creatures you control get +1/+1. Other white creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a red spell, Balefire Liege deals 3 damage to target player or planeswalker. And whenever you cast a white spell, you gain 3 life.
There's partial Aragorn, kind of.
Yeah.
The next one, pet card. I'll take it, but doesn't need to be on the list, but I like it on the list. I like oozes. It's 3 double green. When it enters, you create a biogenic ooze, sorry. It's 2/2. When it enters, you create a 2/2 ooze. At the beginning of your end step, you put a 1/1 counter on each ooze you control, and then it has a mana sink of create a 2/2 green ooze. That's fun. I've wanted to build around that one for a while. I haven't built that one yet, but I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Then the next one here is Blast Furnace Hellkite. 7 double red for a 5/5 dragon with Artifact Offering. Flying, double strike, and creatures attacking your opponents have double strike.
I think it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
The Next one is Bone Miser, which is a 4 and a black zombie wizard. Whenever you discard a card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever you discard a land card, add a 2 swamps. Whenever you discard a non-creature card, draw a card. No, sorry, non-creature, non-land card.
So what I like so much about this one is, number one, the artwork again is just stunning. It's so cool. But the archetype of discard where you're rewarded for personally discarding is very, very different from what we currently have, right? This isn't the whenever other people discard this, you're trying to get yourself to do it, right? You throw a card away, get your land and your draw, right? Like you get your double ramp, I think that it would make a unique kind of deck. Obviously, there's going to be everyone discards cards in there, but I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I really like this one too. Just a random rare bothersome Quasit. 2 and a red for a 3/2 demon with menace. Goaded creatures your opponents control can't block, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you goad target creature an opponent controls.
That poor kitty.
Yeah, like again, I think it's very, very cool. I don't know what this artwork is. This cat's on the sauce.
No, the demon's. It looks like he splashed milk on the cat's face.
Someone take this one, and then I'll take the cycle.
I love this card. I got one of the fancier ones. We got Bramble's Hovern, 2 and 2 green. It's a Dryad. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 and a green. If you do, that creature's controller creates a token that's a copy of that creature.
Yeah.
Life runs wild amid the tangled branches.
Right.
I love how she has a flowery bunny.
Yeah, I just think it's fun. I think it's a fun ability to play around.
It's the fact that you can make everyone get a, like, so if you want to play
group hug it for sure.
Hug, yep. Like, oh, you play your Llanowar? Have 2 Llanowar.
The next one is I have the whole bringer cycle. So these are all 9 mana commanders in their respective colors of black, blue, green, red, white. So
this was 5th Dawn, right? And technically 5th Dawn was still on Mirrodin?
I think so.
Okay, I'm trying to remember my lore.
They all of these have an ability where you can pay Wooburg rather than their cost. And then they all have an upkeep. So the blue one is a 5/5 trampler that lets you draw 2 cards on upkeep. You may. Again, don't think it's broken. And again, a 9 mana commander that's bringing you a Wooburg identity, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
The artwork for the blue one looks super cool. Kind of reminds me of like the lizard guy from Spider-Man a little bit, but crystal.
The green one, again, a 5/5 trampler. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a 3/3 green beast. Okay. The red one, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may untap target creature and gain control of it until on a turn. That creature gains haste. I think that's very fun. Take a creature for the turn, swing with it. It's just like a little bit of a theft deck. I could see how if you went and you're throwing things away, like sacrifice theme, it could be problematic. But again, that exists already. And then the white one is just, it lets you bring an artifact from your graveyard to play. You know?
Yeah, that's I haven't seen those bringers in quite some time. Like I really enjoyed seeing those again.
What I think would be the most fun is this one's a rule 0. You have all 5 bringers in the command zone. Ooh. You pay Wooburg to cast, and then you roll a dice for which effect you get for the turn if it's out. So, I skipped the black one as well. Beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 2 life. If you do search your library for a card, then shuffle, put that card on top. So you'd be able to get a tutor off. But I just think it's really, really fun to roll and see which one of the bringers that you are embodying for the turn. You roll
it's actually really neat.
Yeah, you roll a 1, you get black. You roll a 2, you get blue. You roll a 6, you get nothing. No bringer.
This is my bringers deck.
Yeah. These are interesting as well. I really like the next card, and it's the only one there's 2 of on the list.
I noticed that.
It's Brothers Yamazaki. 2 and a red for a 2/1 human samurai with Bushido 1. If there are exactly 2 permanents named Brothers Yamazaki in play, the legend rule doesn't apply to them. Each other creature named Brothers Yamazaki gets 2/2 and haste.
4/3. It's not bad. Like, definitely not broken. I like it.
Then there's, before we go on with the list, there's actually the other, they remade them. So we have Heiko Yamazaki the General, which is 3 and a red for a 3/3 samurai with trample. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target artifact from your graveyard this turn. I think that's a cool ability. And then where's the other one? The other one is Norika Yamazaki, the poet, 2 and a white. 3/2 human samurai. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you can cast target enchantment from your graveyard. And I think pairing those two together is also very fun because lore-wise, that's what they are. And they don't like each other, and their flavor text kind of goes with that, where Heiko's is, I prefer to let my sword do the talking, and Norika's is, the blades will have their say, but peace is built with words. Yeah.
It's really cool, actually. I like those flavors.
Thank you. This whole cycle, by the way, the next one coming up, I think should be legendary. They all uniquely feel legendary. It's this triplicate color. So we got a Brutal Horde Chief for the first one. 3 and a black, 3/3 Orc Warrior. Whenever a creature you control attacks, defending player loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. 3 and then a hybrid red-white, red-white. Creatures your opponents control block this turn if able, and you choose how they block. I think that's very fun.
No, the color pairing would not work in the deck that I want to put it in.
Yeah, right.
We have Boudica Gardener as the next card up here. So it's one of those flip cards from Kamigawa. It's 1 and a green. You may tap it. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you control 10 or more lands, flip Boudica Gardener. So it's a human monk, 2/1. If we flip it, it becomes dope.
I can read it upside down. Yeah, Dokai Weaver of Life. 4 double green, tap it. You create an XX green elemental creature token where X is the number of lands you control.
That's
the one. Oh, the next one as well is literally just Tana the Bloodsower without partner. It's Kadira, Caller of the Small. It's 1 mana less than Tana, but oh well. 1/1 green, 1 white for a 3/3 Orc Ranger with trample. Whenever Kadira, Caller of the Small, deals combat damage to player, for each token you control, you create a 1/1 white rabbit creature token. I think that's fun.
Is this from?
I really like
the Dungeons and Dragons set?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen this one. That's cool.
And again, it's an uncommon commander, and I really, really like uncommon commanders. Brian, you take the next one. You'd like this one, I guarantee.
I play this one, or I used to. Celestial Ancient, 3 and 2 white for an elemental. Flying, whenever you play an enchantment spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and it's a 3/3.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think that feels bland.
No.
Enchantment matters.
Then we've got Chromanticore. Wooburg for a 4/4 enchantment creature Manticore. You can bestow it for 2 in Wooburg. Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink. An enchanted creature gets +4/+4 and has Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink.
That's cool.
Can you cast Bestow from the command zone?
Yeah.
Could you? And would the commander cost tack on?
Yeah. So the problem is like in the deck, the Estrad deck, we got one of those commanders that it's technically a creature. This just doesn't have legendary creature stable to it. But again, I feel this feels legendary. I feel that this it's got
like the master of all manticores here. We got the Chromanticore.
And again, I think it looks very cool. I don't think this is going to game break a 5-color aura deck, you know?
Yeah.
That's really neat, actually. I like that one.
I really like the Creekwood Liege as well. It's another of the hybrid ones. So it's 1 and then hybrid green, black, green, black, green, black. We have other black creatures you control get 1/1. Other green creatures you control get 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may create a 1/1 black and green worm creature token. Again, I think very cool art, very unique effect. And I don't think that it's crazy. It's not even every upkeep like Beladros is. It's just yours.
Yeah.
I use, I think, the white green one and the blue green one in some of my decks. So I really enjoyed the Lieges.
I hate the new artwork on the next one. It's nice new artwork, but I like how wild the old artwork is. Now I've got it back where it should be. There we go. Yeah. The Deathbringer Liege, that's the one I was talking about. It's a 3/4 horror. It's the white-black hybrid, so 2 white, black, white, black, white, black. White creatures you control get 1/1, other white get 1/1, other black creatures you control get 1/1. Whenever you play a white spell, you may tap target creature, and whenever you play a black spell, you may destroy target creature if it's tapped. I really, really think that's a fun, unique way to play.
Yep, I would agree. We do have, or actually, Slothy, have you read a card lately?
I read Chromanticore, but I'll take this one too if you want.
Yeah, go right ahead.
We've got Deity of Scars. It is 5 hybrid Golgari for a 7/7 Spirit Avatar with Trample. Enters the battlefield with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. You can pay hybrid Golgari to remove a -1/-1 counter and regenerate it.
The flavor
text,
text.
yeah.
His skin cuts swords.
I'm gonna be the first to admit that the next one might be a little questionable. We might be a little questionable with the Dios of Calamity. We've got 5 and hybrid of green red, 6/6 Spirit Avatar, trample. When it deals 6 or more damage to an opponent, destroy target land that player controls. Again, I think it's got a cool space and really cool artwork. Like again, it's not. These aren't little foot soldier things that I'm trying to put up as commanders, I think at least, right? This is a big, giant landscape destroying thing, and I think that would embody the theme of the deck, which is me destroying people's lands and not having friends anymore. I would love to see the rule zero talk for this one. All right, hear me out, please.
I do like that the last two have the same flavor, not the same flavor text, but the flavor text was written by the same person.
Yep. You want to read this one?
He bears the marks of ages upon his skin, memories of dreams long dead, best left buried. The Seer's Parables.
Yeah, right. Slothy, you want
Dibs
this?
on the third card.
Okay. Slothy, you want this one?
Sure. Then we got Diamond Fairy, 2 in Bant, or a 3/3 snow creature fairy with flying. You can pay 1 and a snow land. To have snow creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn.
That's not going to break anything.
No, not in the least.
Yeah, and it's cool. And again, it feels unique.
I haven't seen a snow creature in a while, so I do enjoy that actually. And it's Bant, so that opens it up to quite a bit.
They made some new stuff in the Jumpstart. There was some snow stuff, but yeah, we haven't really got much. I guess Kaldheim we got some too.
Well, at least we got new snow-covered duels, or people should run them like duels.
I do like that one. We have another one of these Seer's Parable ones. It's the Divinity of Pride, which again, I understand maybe you won't let. It's 5 Orzhov hybrid.
Arena.
Yep. It's a 4/4 flying lifelinker, and it gets 4/4 as long as you have 24 or more life. So it is coming down as an 8/8 for 5. So I could see how it's a little wild. And this one is, but again, I just like the cycle, so that's why it's there. The parable on it is, she spoke of mystery and portent of such unfathomable things that my mind screamed for pity.
First I thought it was a bird, but then I just realized that it's a sword. Thought it was the beak.
There you go.
I'm dumb. The card that I wanted to talk, I asked Dan for one of these, and I was really happy with my dragon deck. Actually, I think this went into my Atla Dinosaur Roulette deck because it just seemed fun. So it's Dragon Broodmother, 2, 3 red and a green creature dragon flying. At the beginning of each upkeep, put a 1/1 red and green dragon creature token with flying and devour 2 into play.
I really like that personally.
Is there any actual legendary creatures that enable devour? I don't think there is.
Yes.
Or none that I've seen.
It's Devour X or something like that.
No, like this more. I might actually build this.
It's Thromok the Insatiable, yeah. So that's the only one I think. It's from Plains Chase. Thromok the Insatiable's 3/1 1 red, 1 green for a 0/0 Hellion. Devour X, where X is the number of creatures devoured this way. As it enters, you may sack any number of creatures. It enters with a 1/1 counter on it for each of those creatures.
I'll take the Devour 2.
So one sec, that it says, for example, if Thromok devours 1 creature, it'll enter with a 1/1. If it devours 2, it will enter with 2 1/1s for each of them. So a total of 4 counters. Devouring 3 creatures will produce 9 counters, and so on. Thromok gets pretty silly, yes.
3 times 3 or
I had a Thromok fling
X.
deck, yeah. It was pretty fun.
Gross.
Yeah, it was fun to hurl at him. Yeah, Slothy, take the next one, please.
Yeah. Next one we got is Dream Devourer. 1 and a black for a 0/3 Demon Cleric. Each non-land card in your hand without Foretell has Foretell. Its Foretell cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 2. And whenever you foretell a card, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn.
Yeah. Every part of it, from the artwork to the effect, I think is worthy of being a legendary creature. Right?
Yeah, I would agree.
I also feel the same about Drogskull Reaver. I think it should be a legendary thing. Just again, artwork, effect, it does a lot. We've got 5, a white, a blue for a spirit. flying double strike lifelink. Whenever you gain life, draw a card. So a great attacker, a great blocker. I just feel like it's in a unique space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I got to start on these next ones. Again, there's no justification in any realm. Even if you don't like building illegal commanders, and even if you're like, you know what, this isn't for me, I don't really like where you guys are going with this, justifying that the Nephilim aren't commander legal as like options is crazy, I think. These cards are everything commander should be. They are unique in the story, and they're just so cool. So the first one of the Nephilim we have is Dune Brood Nephilim. It's a black, a red, a green, and a white. And we don't get many 4-color pairings like this, like Brian said, unless we're having partners, right?
Mm-hmm. This thing of nightmares.
It is a thing of nightmares. It's such cool artwork. It's a 3/3. Whenever Doom Brood Nephilim deals combat damage to a player, you put a 1/1 colorless sand creature token into play for each land you control. I think that's just a very, very cool ability.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to take the next one too because it's so very strange. Look at this artwork.
It's like a frog, and at first it looks like he was just spitting up like spikes, but I guess those are his sand creatures.
Yeah. All right, now look at the artwork on the next card. Yeah, exactly. For anyone watching the YouTube video, when you see it, this is a strange card. Look this artwork up. It's a very old card. So it's 4, a black, and it's called Ebon Praetor. It has trample first strike, and it's a 5/5. During your upkeep, you put a -2/2 counter on Ebon Praetor. You can sack a creature during your upkeep to remove a -2/2 counter from Ebon Praetor. If the creature sacked this way from a Thrall, also put a +1/0 counter on Ebon Praetor. Only one creature may be sacrificed in this manner each turn. I think this is just a weird card. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's this rabbit doing? He's the odd man out here.
Don't know.
What's the middle thing? Merfolk?
Couldn't tell you. Maybe that's one of the Thralls. It's very strange and unique artwork. And like I said, I feel...
Are they all getting married?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on in there. I feel like this, again, occupies such a unique space of like a sacrifice-based... Like it's got a sack outlet in the command zone, a punishment for not being able to sacrifice it. It's not a crazy creature.
This reminds me of Aladdin's Cave, the big cat mouth.
Yeah.
I've never seen this card, and I could probably, in all honesty, just look at this art some more and study it a little bit better, because there's just so much going on in it. Like, I've got the houses in the background.
There's a lot going on there. I don't know what kind of acid trip drew this card, but I think it's phenomenally cool. I would love to have a poster of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have Elder Brain, which I've always felt should be legendary. It's 5 double black for a 6/6 horror. It's got menace. When it attacks a player, exile all cards from that player's hand, then they draw that many cards. You may play lands and cast spells from among the exiled cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were a mana of any color. A 7/7 6/6 getting through without built-in flying, I don't think is crazy.
No, being able to be blocked by... I don't like, again, that it's on attacks. It's not on when it deals combat damage. So it just has to attack.
The problem is, though, they're still getting those cards that are in their hand, right? Like they don't get the ones they add, but they're replacing them, right? So you're getting a bunch of draw off on it. It's not like I'm leaving you with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
True, but also having 7 cards that normally may not be exiled is still a little bit of a feel bad moment.
But I don't think most people are going to have 7 cards unless they're holding...
I exiled one of your lands and you killed me for it.
Yeah, I was land screwed that game. What I was going to say, though, is
I'm card screwed to this game.
But I'm giving you new cards. We're getting you where you should be. Like I said, at 7, when you're at the point in the game where you're casting something 7 mana, if you have a handful of cards, it's interaction.
Mm-hmm.
True.
You know? Yeah, it's either you're in a wild draw deck and you're already drawing so much anyways that you can stand to lose those. Now, sure, if I'm holding 30 cards and somebody Elder Brains me for 30, I might be a little upset. But
yeah,
let's go. Let's do it. I want to play your cards, man.
Yeah, right. Take it away.
Next one we've got here is Empyrean Archangel, 4 green, double white, blue, for a 5/8 angel with flying and shroud. All damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to Imperial Archangel instead.
I think that would be a fun one.
The thing that I like about it is you can't do the normal shenanigans you'd think, right? You can't put Pariah on it, and you can't put Indestructibility on it.
Oh, because of the shroud, yes.
Yes, exactly. So it's not like you're game breaking this thing by making it so you can't Darksteel plate it, you can't any of those things. You're just getting a big beater that's also saving your life.
8 of it at least, yeah.
8 of it. Well, no, it's you deal 40 to me,
yeah.
Right?
And then all that 40 goes to it.
And again, I think artwork wise, I wouldn't be offended to see this in the command zone. You know what I mean?
No, I think it's pretty easily used there. Plus, it's still a 7, but you are in blue and white, so
it's
you can
8.
get some ramp going.
It's gross. 8 mana.
You could Eldrazi Monument on this.
Ooh, yep. But then you also may have to make sure that you have a sacrifice.
Yeah.
But you're in green and white.
Yeah.
So you have all of the token doublers and everything.
There's workarounds for them and stuff. I also have always thought the next one should have a legendary because, again, artwork wise, it's cool. It's Spirit Angel. It's Ethereal Valkyrie. 4, 1 white, 1 blue for a 4/4 Spirit Angel. Whenever it enters or attacks, you draw a card, then exile a card from your hand face down. It becomes Foretold, and its foretell cost is its mana cost reduced by 2. I like that, and again, I think it's unique. There's not enough foretell stuff that actually matters. You can't really do that much, so it's fun to actually get these foretell things off.
Foretell's a cool ability. But
yeah, I know we're not going to go through all of them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. We're just going through a bunch. Like I said, it's non-exhaustive, but I just want to talk about a few of them. Like, read the next one for me, please, Brian. Tell me you wouldn't love to build this deck.
I just lost myself. Everstrike. Wow, that's a lot of wings on a dragon. 3 hybrid Orzhov. Elemental Spirit, flying. Everstrike gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. X and Orzhov hybrid. Return Everstrike from your graveyard to play. You may put an aura card with converted mana cost X or less from your from your hand into play attached to it. If you don't remove Everstrike from the game,
I think that's such a cool card. I think
the artwork.
I think it again fits all of those things of like, would this be fun? Orzhov auras isn't a really the Aura of Zovs. Either way, isn't really a thing, especially with a reanimate attached to it. I think it's cool. You have to have something to put in. I like it.
Yeah.
Let's do the Nephilim at least, Slothy here.
Sure. We got.
Yeah, go ahead.
Glint Eye Nephilim, blue, black, red, green for a 2/2 Nephilim. When he deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards, and you can pay 1 to discard a card, and he gets +1/+1 till end turn.
I don't think that's a crazy one.
No, I feel like all of these Nephilim would be very fun in the command zone.
Yeah, right. I have, like I said, I've
foot at the end. Is that a foot at the end of it?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's just got 1. That's all he needs.
It's pretty cool, right?
Just some soft log.
I have.
He stands up and hops like a pogo stick.
Oh,
I have Golos on the deck on the list for obvious reasons because it should never have been banned.
This is my illegal commander Golos.
Yeah. There's where's the next of my Nephilims? Ink Treader is probably the wildest of all of them. It's 1 red, green, white, blue for a 3/3. Whenever a player plays an instant or sorcery spell, if Ink Treader Nephilim is the only target of that spell, copy the spell for each other creature the spell could copy. Each copy targets a different of those creatures. It's not optional. You try to swords it, you swords the field. I like it.
Yeah.
It looks like a flood.
Yeah, right. Where's my other ones?
Down near the bottom there.
Oh, I also have another one that I have to read for Brian too. Prince of Thralls, 4/1 blue, double black, and a red, so another 8 mana one. It's a creature demon 7/7. Whenever a permanent opponent controls is put into a graveyard, put it into play under your control unless they pay 3 life. I think that's really, really fun as a design space. I get your fetches unless you pay 3. I get your creatures if I destroy them unless you pay 3. I think it's fun.
Gross.
All right, take the next one, please, Slothy.
This next Nephilim, I think was probably the most powerful out of all of them, other than the copy one. Witchmaw. It is green, white, blue, black for a 1/1. Whenever you play a spell, you may put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and whenever it attacks, it gains trample until end of turn if its power is 10 or greater.
I like that, and I don't think it's wildly broken. I think it's fun.
No, I think this could be a really fun Voltron deck.
That face.
The Witchmaw?
Yeah.
Do you want to take our last one that's on here, Brian?
I'm just captivated by the smile right now. Yeah, so we got your Teller Nephilim, white, blue, black, red. Whenever your Tiller Nephilim attacks, return target creature card from your graveyard to play, tapped and attacking.
Again, I don't think a wildly broken ability. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
When it awoke, the worms of the earth hissed in a chorus of beckoning.
Yeah. There's, like I said, the list we run out a little bit of time, but there's, I think, a lot of really, really fun things on this list. Like there's some cool stuff for sure. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to know what other people would like to play or not like to play, right? As long as
what are you already playing?
Yeah, true. Oh, I do have to say Kappa Cannoner is the other one as well, just because it's so funny. It's an artifact creature turtle warrior. It's 5 and a blue for a 4/4 with improvise, so you can tap artifacts to cast it. It's got ward 4. Whenever an artifact enters under your control, you put a 1/1 counter on Kappa Cannoneer and it can't be blocked this turn. I just think that's sick. Big old Blastoise.
One that I actually noticed wasn't on the list, but it's one I've always wanted to build as an illegal commander, is General's Enforcer.
Yep, that's a great one.
White and a black for a 2/3 human soldier. Legendary humans you control have indestructible. You can pay 2 white and black to exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token.
Yeah, I'll like I said, we'll wrap there. I think if people send me other things that aren't on this list, I'd love to just keep adding them onto the list, because I really would like to see more. I'll add that General's Enforcer right now. I'd like to see more and more just unique things being played. I just like playing Commander. For anyone who's listened for a long time, I've got like nearly 500 Commander decks now.
Yeah.
Is it over 500, Brian? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I got to count. It's a lot. It's too many. But these also give me a really, really fun build path. But yeah, let me hit my music. There we go. I could talk about this stuff all day. I just love to build things. Put Primeval Titan in every deck. I don't even care. Let's play Magic and have a great time. If you like all our content, find it over on intothe99.com. We put lots of stuff there. We got great articles that come out there, and I think I may even read an article about illegal commanders at some point. I should stop being lazy and write. Thunder writes great articles. He's not lazy, so good job over there. If you do play illegal commanders, what would you play? What would you like to rule 0 into the command zone? Are you totally against the idea, or could somebody politics talk their way into it? How would you feel about this? Let me know. Just YouTube comments on Instagram, Twitter, anything like that. I'd love to do it, and we'll make up a graphic too that says like what illegal pairings would you let blah 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 blah. You guys get it. Really, if you enjoy our content, like, share, and subscribe. It really, really does help us to get found. If you want to support us even farther, go to Patreon. We're going to be doing a lot of patron streams. It's a great place to talk, chat, build decks, and yeah, you can listen to the episodes live as we're doing them, which is actually something that's happening right now. And yeah, that's the entirety of my pitch. Brian's got to go to work, so we got to wrap this one. Oh, sorry. No, you know what? I can't keep reading more I can't read more in the outro. There's no way. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye-bye. All right, there we go. Uncle Istavan. 1 triple black, it's a 1/3, and all damage done to Uncle Istavan by creatures is reduced to 0. That's it.
Oh, I've already ended my recording.
That's it, yeah. You can cut things where you want, but this is where the podcast ends. All right, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
See ya.